Welcome to Barnaby's podcast, Eye of the Beholder. Barnaby's is one of the leading search engines for art, design, antiques and collectibles from over 3,000 auction houses worldwide. We aim to make the art and auction market more transparent and accessible to everyone, from beginners to collectors and professionals. We continue to look into 2023 year's hottest trends. In this week's episode, we ask Daniel Becker, Louis Hack, Hugo Boutin, Amélie Lambert, and Jeroen Kocher. All are experts at Catawiki who work together with the market research company Ipsos to come up with the trends that will define the world of special objects in 2023. Catawiki is Europe's leading online marketplace for special objects selected by experts. Objects that fulfill people's passion. Daniel, one of the strongest trends for 2023 is U2K. The early 2000s represent a period of simplicity, and it seems that some millennials are expected to see collectibles that transport them back to their carefree past or their childhood. Or at least the teenage. What are the iconic toys and collectibles that will receive most of attention from millennials, you think?
Well, everything that relates to our childhood holds sentimental value in some way. Of course, this is individual for everyone, but when it comes to collectibles that are still be of interest for you once you're an adult, also with adult money, people born in the 80s and the early 90s spent money to relive the experiences of a carefree childhood. During the pandemic, there was a big resurgence in reconnecting for millennials with all kinds of toys, TV shows, video games, and franchises of their childhood. Most popular of those is definitely Pokemon, with their 20 years of TV shows, video games, and trading cards. With a sales value of over $190 billion. I, as an expert for Catawiki in trading cards, I saw firsthand the increased interest for 90s and early 2000 items. Of course, values also raised since some collectibles are more popular than others. Investing and speculating on Y2K items became very big since 2020. Everyone tried to earn some money with their childhood hobbies. Especially vintage tech collectibles like video game consoles, action figures, or computers is a new, fun, and non-traditional way for geeky, passionate people to invest today. This trend spreads to all kinds of items, and many businesses have been established around the hype of collectibles. Naturally, mainstream media celebrities also picked up the trend and gave spotlight to their own personal childhood favorites, which grew the interest even more. And it seems like nerdiness now is considered cool. Being passionate about your hobby is seen as something to strive towards. And this can be seen in our auction at Catawiki, where early 2000 collectibles explode in popularity. For example, we're selling a sealed box of first non-Japanese Pokemon cards, which shows a triple of their value it had, let's say, back in 2018.
So it's quite a rapid development of the price increase, I guess.
It really all became very, very much a hype along with the COVID pandemic, indeed.
When you say it's non-Japan Pokemon card, where are they from then?
It all started in Japanese, so Pokemon especially is a Japanese franchise. So it started there a few years earlier, and then it came over to Europe and the US, where it now is absolutely ginormous in interest.
What is the reason behind this surge in popularity for collectibles, quite modern collectibles actually, would you say? Is it because you really want to to kind of, well, what do you say? Are you nostalgic, or why?
Nostalgic emotions is the biggest driver, I would say. This is most of these things from the early 2000s and the late 90s are considered vintage nowadays. So I think that if you were a child and looking back at that, those things you enjoyed feel vintage to you now. Yeah, and this, the reconnecting with your childhood is the biggest factor.
And if we go to the next kind of trend, millennium mode or fashion, Louise Hack, 2023 will see the comeback of it bags, oversized sunglasses and toned down silhouettes. What do you think is the main reason for the popularity of these items?
Well, Y2K is the latest fashion trend happening at the moment, so it's all about that early 2000 vibes. The millennials are the main consumers and they're looking for anything related to that era. Statement pieces and fashion items like the low-rise jeans and it bags such as the classic Balenciaga city bag, the Prada nylon bag or the iconic Fendi baguette bag all have the origin in the early 2000s. That's why they're super popular at the moment. Today, everyone wants to have one of these it bags in their wardrobe, which we do also recognize at Catawiki because the demand of these bags increased within the last months. We're selling many different Fendi baguette bags and also many vintage Louis Vuitton pochette bags every week. And when it comes to toned down silhouettes, I realized that gender-specific collections are not that relevant anymore. This was also shown on the runway for the Spring-Summer collection 2023, where male and female models wore the same pieces so that everyone could identify with them. Another reason is that during the pandemic, everyone wanted to be more comfortable in what they wear, either at home or on the street. And everything is less tight and more focused on comfort now. So the millennials are seeing the early 2000s as a time of simplicity. They're looking for pieces that are taking them back to a carefree past. I do also like that trend. I think a comfortable go-to outfit for me would be a pair of white leg jeans, a loose shirt and an oversized, maybe Balenciaga hoodie, which I would dress up with an it bag, obviously, and a cool pair of sneakers. So what we do also realize here is that the sneaker section at Catawiki is growing a lot within the last months. For example, we sold a pair of Louis Vuitton Nike Air Force by Virgil Abloh for €8,000.
But do you believe that part of this success has been influenced by some celebrities? And if so, who are they? And why do you believe they might have influenced this new trend?
Yes, for sure. Nowadays, everyone is glued to their phone 24/7, scrolling through Instagram or spending time on TikTok. So celebrities, models and influencers are definitely playing a big role when it comes to fashion inspiration nowadays. When we had Paris Hilton, Nico Ricci or Britney Spears back in the 2000s, we now have celebrities like Hailey Bieber, Bella Hadid or Kendall Jenner who are showing their best Y2K wears on Instagram and giving them a new and modern feel. And also Y2K fashion is pushed by TikTok trends such as What's in My Bag and Cyber 2K, where everyone is showing their Y2K outfits and share it with the world.
So social media is really important for this trend, I guess.
Yes, absolutely. 100%.
But does social media, does it make also the trends move quicker, you think?
Yeah, I think so.
I'm thinking like when it comes to fashion, I think before people, they saw it in magazines that came out once in a month or maybe once every second month or whatever. So I guess the fashion, since the fashion is much quicker today, I guess also the secondary market trend seems quicker, don't you think?
Yeah, well, we do definitely have this throwaway fast fashion thing happening at the moment. So I think social media definitely influence that a lot because everyone sees like 1,000 pictures every day when they're scrolling through their phone. And the latest trend is over faster, maybe.
Even if it's all about to wear the same piece over and over again, or sell it, for example, at Catawiki, so someone else can use it, and taking that sustainability aspect of the shopping, I guess. But I guess the trends are quicker.
And linked to the sustainable aspect, the Y2K fashion is a step towards to follow a trend and to be also sustainable. So if you're looking for some items inspired by the 2000s, doesn't matter if it's like clothing or bags or sneakers, I would say Catawiki is like the perfect platform for it to find these unique pieces and go with the trend.
Hugo, the sports industry and its memorabilia is becoming more exclusive than ever, with female athletes leading the way. Do you believe that 2023 will be a celebration of change with marginalized and underrepresented people finally getting the recognition they deserve?
Yes, for sure. It's really exciting to see female sports stars finally getting the global attention they deserve, as well as the potential for growth in the women's sports memorabilia market on Catawiki. The sports memorabilia market historically has been unfairly dominated by men from every point of view. So from the seller point of view, the buyers, the demand, the value, the press attention, the collectors also, and so on. But thanks to TV embracing more and more women's sports, and the fact that we have also millennials that are more socially conscious consumers in terms of equality and diversity, we see some very positive changes. And a great example of this, of a women's market increase, is the Panini edition of the Women's World Cup Germany 2011. It was the first of its kind, and has an increasing value that is rising very, very fast. For example, a sealed box went under the hammer on Catawiki in May 2019 for 285 euros, and nowadays you have to pay 1,500 euros for it. Catawiki is a big supporter of women's sports memorabilia, and we're really excited about the Women's World Cup this year, which feels promising for another increase in popularity for the women's sports memorabilia market value overall.
Do you think less known sports will become more popular too?
That's always very difficult to forecast, of course, but right now we see a strong trend with the padel sport. It's worldwide the fastest growing sport, and TV broadcasters like ESPN started to broadcast live games of the professionals. So of course, if that sport will be adopted on by the regular broadcasters, and will maybe in the future become an Olympic sport, who knows, a new collectible market maybe could start. But right now, what is great is that the players are still very accessible to their fans.
Does those items also raise in value if they're signed by the most famous sportsmen or women?
Yes, of course, there is a higher demand for signed items, and on top of this, worn items during specific competitions.
Will we see more objects, cards and collectibles representing this change and inclusivity?
Yes, during the COVID years, the sports trading card and tickets also market exploded. So the US are dominating this market, but more and more is coming to Europe. So, for example, at the end of the COVID period, we received a loose Michael Jordan debut ticket from his first NBA game in 1984. It went for 12,500 euros on Catawiki. And the sports cards domain is also becoming more inclusive, and there is a strong trend for women-related sports cards, with, for example, a Serena Williams rookie card that broke several records last year.
Of course, she was very in the loop of media as well. So I guess that helped the price.
Yes, definitely. But let's hope we have more and more Serena Williams in the future.
So, Amélie, according to the Trends report, buying a heirloom piece will work perfectly with next year's layering trend, in which some of the classics will be combined with statement pieces. There is something sweet and nostalgic about this. People could be seen wearing their grandma's brooch and combine it with a chunky modern piece. What do you think will be the best matches and combinations?
We've hopefully passed the worst of the pandemic, and after 2 years of restrictions, we feel a need for going out, reconnecting with people and socializing. Now is the time to dust off and wear your jewelry, and especially your branded modern pieces. The up-and-coming trend is to combine New Year or current models with more classical jewelry that is either passed down from a family member or sourced from auction platforms such as Catawiki. The recent success of the gold and gold Catawiki auction in partnership with the magazine Elle France, which took place in November 2022, was a great showcase for this. As an example, in this sale, we saw the 1940s rose gold wristwatch with approximately 5 carats of diamonds by Van Cleef & Arpels for a price of 16,000 euros. This is what we can call a statement piece, both for its bold design and materials. During these auctions, we also saw the rare 1960s enamel diamond and gold Mobusa brooch for a price of 1,600 euros. This auction really highlights the trends we are discussing of new items mixed with vintage pieces. Parallel to these classical statement pieces that people already own or possess in the family, people are looking to accessorize with the modern. The iconic designs that are still being retailed today remain a very strong market, pulling a huge audience of bidders to the Catawiki platform. Brands like Cartier, Tiffany or Bulgari are always at the top in Google rankings as people look to secure that piece to make their collection. Classic designs like the Cartier Love bracelet or Van Cleef & Arpels Alhambra earrings can be worn with a chunky bracelet or necklace. Pomellato jewelry pieces with their playful combination of colorful gemstones and candy-like designs are also selling very strongly. Wearing vintage brooches can be an example of mixing older pieces with new to create a statement. All of the major jewelry houses have a long history of making spectacular brooches and are always in the press with high-profile wearers like Elizabeth, the Lane Queen of England, who maintain one of the rarest and most expensive collections. For instance, she has 98 brooches in her collection. Brooches gives the jeweler artistic license to explore form, design, and detail not seen in smaller jewelry pieces. They can sometimes be compared to precious artworks that can be worn as well as just kept in a collection for future generations. In 2023, green is predicted to be the upcoming color for jewelry, so the perfect combination could be a pair of Alhambra malachite pendant earrings by Van Cleef & Arpels, accentuated with a chunky gold bracelet set with diamonds.
You mentioned brooches. Will they be worn in the same way as traditionally have been worn? Or will they be used in another way today?
Well, I think both men and women can wear brooches. I mean, of course, it's a very precious piece of jewelry, but I already saw, maybe not in jewelry, but in more in fashion, some men wearing brooches.
You were mentioned some different brands. And also when we take a look at Barnaby's, we see that there is a lot of people looking for specific brands when they're looking for jewelries, etc. Is this important for the price that is made by some particular brand or particular designer?
Yes, it's very important. This is what makes the prices in jewelry. So the name of the brand. And of course, if the pieces is not produced anymore, the prices are even higher. This is why vintage pieces are sold for a higher price than a modern price modern piece that is currently being produced by Cartier or Bulgari. So yes, of course, it has a huge impact on the prices.
There is another trend, alternatives, and Giron Couture. After years that have seen a predominance of whiskey at auction, it seems that it is the right time to invest in cognac, Armagnac, and grappa, and other sorts of spirits. Are there any specific brands or years that you would recommend?
Yeah, it is the right time to invest in spirits indeed. An ever-growing percentage of the spirits and beers in our auctions are being scooped up by investors. Especially small batch cognac, Armagnac and grappa are expected to catch up with whiskey and rum prices. And from a price quality perspective, prices could easily double or even quadruple in 2023 before the whiskey prices come inside. The underlying value, aka quality of drinking, really is an issue for investors, collectors, and tasters alike. And you asked about the brands and producers. When we look into cognac producers, for example, we have Valin Tersignier, Prunier, and Gros Perrin. In Armagnac, there's a wide variety of excellent small producers worthy of buying. And when it comes to grappa, there's only one go-to distillery, and that's Levy. But let's not forget that both whiskey and rum are still going strong as well. And for many distilleries, we expect continued growth in 2023 as well.
But I must ask you, why do you think whiskey has been so far the most expensive and the most sought after?
Good question. To look at, when we look at the price rises in whiskey, that's not a trend anymore. That goes back, well over 20 years, and I guess that was triggered by scarcity and a combination of scarcity and quality already in the past. We saw coming that. Excellent whiskies we used to taste 25 years ago when I started. We already knew that it might take a month, it might take 6 months, and then that old stock is gone, and you have to find something new.
What is the first and most important thing to check when buying these types of spirits as forms of an investment? I guess it's a little bit different from wine, for example.
Tempting to go into the wine, but indeed, most important is verifying the authenticity of a bottle, and of course, when buying at Catawiki, our experts have already done this for you. Second, if you are buying to invest, I guess you also want to be flexible in when you want to sell your bottle again. If you have to sell in 3 months, that might not be ideal from the bottle's perspective. So in order to be flexible, it's important to make sure that the bottles are in good condition. And amongst other things, that means that the filling level is good. And of course, once you obtain a bottle, it's very important to store them well. So make sure that they are away from direct light, more or less constant temperature, and very important one in order to stop evaporation, because they very slowly evaporate over time. You have to wrap your capsules in a parafilm or even cling film from your kitchen cabinet in order to stop the evaporation.
So Daniel Becker, Louis Hack, Amélie Lambert, Hugo Boutin, and Giron Couture, thank you so much for sharing those trend insight. I feel enlightened to go out to do the next shopping tour on Catawiki. To keep up with the latest trends and receive weekly updates on the art and auction world, subscribe to our newsletter on barnabys.com or read Barnabys magazine online.
you.